and none of my friends believe that I can actually get the global talent visa, and it genuinely has changed my life. Every no actually is a hidden yes. What if I tell you you don't need to be a coder, a software engineer, or a startup founder to qualify for the UK's global talent visa? Because guess what? I was an investment banker for 10 years, not someone in tech. And none of my friends believe that I can actually get the global talent visa, and none of the people that I know who has got the global talent visa think I will be able to get it. At least will be a long shot, that's what they say. But a decision has changed my life forever. I am a global talent visa holder in the UK. So if I can do it, I believe at least you can try and get it as well. And here's how I do it. In this video, I'm going to break down all you need to know about the UK's global talent visa for you. Quick disclaimer, I am not an immigration lawyer or any type of immigration consultant, so this video is purely from my personal anecdotes and experience that I want to share with you. If you have more specific questions or things like that, do consult with a legal professional or somebody who actually is working for these kind of immigration day in and out. And let's go. So a little bit about me. I'm a banker turned entrepreneur and startup founder, currently splitting my time between London and Lisbon. And in this channel, I usually share how you can make the best memory out of your life and remember all the best things in life out of the smallest things. Last year around this time, I was at crossroad because my job situation was not very certain, and I was trying to figure out every single ways I can continue my life in London, which is very importantly for someone who's an expat, first and foremost is the visa. And that's how and when I came across, just by chance, this thing called global talent visa by browsing through LinkedIn, and one of my very young and talented friend, I think he's only like 20, posted something about that. So I came across this type of visa and deeper all about the global talent visa. So the global talent visa seems to be impossible for me because there are three categories. One is arts and science, the other is academia, the other one is digital technology. The digital technology one is the closest one that I can ever get, but I have never worked in a software company. I also, at the time when I came across this visa, have anything to do with startup. Like I wasn't a startup founder at the time, so it seems impossible. But I thought, why not give it a try? True, there's an application fee around £716, but compared to a lot of the stuff that you need to pay for an immigration lawyer, you need to pay for like a golden visa, that's just kind of like nothing. So I was like, what can I do to try it out? Whatever that I can do, I will do it. So that's how I started my journey of this global talent visa. My entire timeline, I learned about this at the end of October last year and beginning of November. I gathered all the information and the materials and documentation in around 4 to 5 weeks. I put a link down below. They basically going to give you 5 questions. You pick. 1 is mandatory, 2 is optional, or 2 are mandatory and 1 is optional, but you pick 3 out of those 5 criteria, and each one of them you provide 3 pieces of evidence, and you're also required to provide 3 letters of recommendations. It's like applying for MBA or for graduate school, that kind of thing. I gathered all of those information in 5 weeks, submitted in the middle of December. Because I'm on the fast track process in the Tech Nations Guide. Actually, there's endorsing bodies, some different type of accelerators actually, their offer letter, which at the time when I start applying, I actually have the offer letter to join one of the accelerators program, and that will qualify me on the fast track. That will give you the feedback within 3 weeks. So that shortened the whole application process. I received the feedback on New Year's Eve. That's not a yes, it's a no. And that no almost crushed me. I was like, this is the end of 2023, and also it's the end of my hope of getting a global talent visa. But guess what? Every no actually is a hidden yes. I went back to the application and actually see that there's a lot of good feedback, and the 3 criteria actually meet 2 out of 3. The one that I didn't meet, outline why I didn't meet it. I went back to all the materials I submitted. Actually, they allow you to have 28 days to appeal. So I appeal. The caveat is you're not able to submit any new information, but then I appeal, and then I pointed out these are the information actually maybe you have overlooked. I submitted everything and they have overturned their decision. They were like, yeah, sure, this is your visa. This is your global talent visa. I think that really set me free. In February this year, I was like, finally, I am recognized as a global talent. I will be able to start my company. I'll be able to continue my exploration of how to build a life that I want to live. Finally, don't have to work for a sponsorship just for the fact that because I'm not from the country. So what exactly is the global talent visa? So in the UK, I came to the UK with a skilled worker visa because I'm employed by a bank. I wanted to switch to this global talent visa. It's one tier up. Usually the skilled worker visa is tier 2. This one is sort of like a tier 1 visa. They allow you to be self-employed. You just couldn't be a doctor or a sports person because I think those are in a very specific type of criteria. And the good thing about that is whatever that you accumulated the time. So in the UK, if you come with a working visa or these type of visa, it's 5 years, you'll be able to qualify as indefinite leave to remain, the ILR, usually what people say. So my previous years in the skilled worker visa time still count towards to that 5 years. So there are two categories in the global talent visa. One is exceptional talent, the other is exceptional promise. So exceptional talent, you'll be able to get your ILR just in 3 years. It's super fast. It's the quickest one I've heard, at least. I applied for the exceptional promise for the fact that because I was like, sure, I'm not a software engineer. I'm also not a coder or a Silicon Valley founder, that kind of thing. So I applied for that 5 years, and it served the same purpose, to be honest, for me, because I'm almost there. I'm like halfway through my 5 years journey to qualify as the ILR. So the global talent visa breaks into 3 categories. One is arts and science, the other is academia, and finally is digital technology, which is the category I apply and many of the other people who have applied. My personal tips would be just tell your story in the way that people can easily see why you could be at least an exceptional promise to become a leader. Because I'm not asking for much. I was like, I have the potential to become a leader in the field, and these are all my previous build-up of who I am today, and which is why I will be able to demonstrate that in the future. People I know who got the global talent visa, usually they're like startup founders that used to work in a fintech company, and also some people who have worked in VC, venture capital environment, and have helped startups to raise money. Also, usually they will be the ones who are more likely compared to bankers or consultants. They don't like that type of profile to be qualified as digital technology, which is understandable. My personal anecdote, people always ask me, how can you get a global talent visa as a banker? To share a few anecdotes from my success in applying for that, one is don't say no to rejection. Like, I deleted the email like immediately because it's like so many no's on a New Year's Eve. It's not a nice feeling, but I went back and see, oh, actually it is reasonable. I will just appeal again, right? It doesn't require you more money or anything. I mean, there's no harm to appeal again. I will highly recommend. The other thing is the timeline, because that offer letter from Antler, which you can see my first day as an entrepreneur in Antler in this video, the offer letter actually helped me to fast track the whole process, and that really helps me. Otherwise, I have to restart the 5 years again. That really helps me to get the visa before my previous skilled worker visa expired. I think timeline-wise, if you're able to just get an offer letter from one of those endorsement body, that doesn't guarantee you get a visa, just to be clear, but that fast track your process. At least you'll be able to know the decision quicker, and that helps you to plan some other steps if at the end you didn't get it. Finally, I want to say is everyone is unique. We all have our own story. Really dig into your story and see how you can emotionally connect it with the committee, because usually what they do is they have this committee to read all of the application. It's the same thing when you apply for different things, and the easier it is for you to connect with them and tell them this is who I am, this is how I want to contribute to UK's digital technology scene or whatever category that you want to be in, and these are all my supporting materials. So some of my friends who have got this visa have repeatedly told me that you need to help people to understand your story clear, loud, and easy. Because I know that they only require 3 recommendations letter, but what I did, which maybe helps me a little bit, and I can see that from my feedback, is every single piece of my evidence, I also have like a 1-page of recommendation letter that fit into that evidence. For example, I was telling that I started a podcast. That podcast is completely before last year in November, non-existing in my life. This is my bite-sized climate tech podcast. But that podcast is completely non-existing in my life before last year in November. One of the piece of evidence that I submitted, which is go above and beyond your occupation, just by chance it happens like that. And I have someone's recommendations like this mentioned about this podcast, and that's how you can actually piece all of the different supporting materials. You can even edit it. I edit all my supporting materials on Canva in a way that's like a newsletter. I put these are the evidence, these are the bullet points, these are the visuals of what I did, and finally there's a recommendation letter. It actually helps better if you can just highlight what you want people to know about that piece of evidence, because it's actually helpful for them to be able to pick up the points. And finally, I want to say is, I don't know what kind of stages you're going through in your life. It might be you're looking for a different, you're looking to move to the UK to start a new life, or you're just looking for a different way to stay and continue your life in the country. I know it's very hard when you start a new life in a completely new country and you will encounter some kind of job uncertainty like I did last year. I want to encourage you to check it out at least, whether it can work for you and how you can actually make it happen. I know it's very difficult. I didn't hire any lawyer to help me, to be honest. I have some help from people who have applied, and I do think the same way as when you're applying for graduate school or you're designing your own life, yourself will know yourself the best, and every single day we can make ourselves a little bit closer to who we want to be, a talent. So don't ever say no to yourself before you even try. There will be people telling you it's impossible, I don't think you can get it. There's people who are scholars who didn't get it. But I genuinely believe if you wanted to be qualified as a talent, persistence and resilience that actually can help you there. And it genuinely has changed my life. A year ago, you tell me that I don't have to work for someone to live in the country I want to have a life. I don't need a sponsor for me to attach to a job. I wouldn't believe you. I would be like, you are not, you're not telling me the truth. But here I am. So if I can do it, I believe the talented you who are watching this, you can do it too. And don't ever say no to yourself, please, promise me. And that is why I'm sharing my story here. I hope it gives you a little bit of optimism. I hope it gives you a little bit of hope if you're saying to yourself, this is impossible for me. Feedback, comments, and questions, please leave a comment down below. If people like it, I can do a follow-up video about this specific topic if it helps people to find out more about the Global Talent Visa. All the links, information in the video description. Please feel free to grab whatever that you need. And if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and share it with your friends and family, whoever that needs this information for them. I appreciate you. I thank you for watching for so long of this video. I'll see you next time. Get a visa for yourself.